all of these pundits and pollsters and analysts that you see on all the cable channels and all the networks have no track record in predicting elections. And yet they come on and they claim they know how this debate is going to affect the outcome of elections. They have no idea. It's sports talk radio. It may be entertaining, but it has no scientific basis.
So what is the impact, do you think?
Zero. That's why we rely on the 13 keys, which tap into the structure of how elections really work. And they show that Democrats' really only chance to win, contrary to everything you've heard, is with Biden running.
So that was immediately after the June presidential debate, after Donald Trump just totally swept the floor with Joe Biden, and the Democrats were freaking out, and they were thinking about replacing Joe Biden. And Allan Lichtman was on CNN saying, hey, that is going to be a bad idea. And his words, not mine, Joe Biden is the best chance that Democrats have. So now, all of a sudden, he's saying that Kamala Harris is going to win. Not only did Lichtman say that, by the way, he also said that Democrats would lose if they replaced Joe Biden. So I don't get how you go from Democrats are going to lose if you replace Joe Biden to Allan Lichtman now saying that Kamala Harris is going to win because my 13 keys, they're a predictive model and they're not like the polls. And here's the thing, Allan Lichtman, it wasn't just that CNN interview. I'm going to go through clip after clip of Lichtman doubling down on his prediction that not only should Democrats not replace Joe Biden, but that Democrats would lose if they swap Joe Biden out for someone else. But after that interview, he actually went on X, formerly known as Twitter, and wrote this: if Democrats hope to retain the White House in November, they need to support Joe Biden. That's what he said. Now, the reason I'm going through this is because a few days ago, I made a video. I'm not going to relitigate the 13 keys here, but in that video, I went through each of Allan Lichtman's 13 keys. I played his prediction, his analysis, and then I put my rebuttal. Now, I never, just to be clear, I never said that I wanted to debate him. I want to interview him. If he's willing to come on the channel, I'd love to interview him. But I got a lot of interesting comments from Allan Lichtman fans. And quite frankly, at this point, I think they're sort of cult members, which is ironic because they say all of us are cult members. But take a look at some of these comments that I'm getting. Key number 2 being false. Key number 2 being the incumbency key. Doesn't mean that Biden would have done better than Harris in the election. It just means that Biden would have gotten that key, but Harris will not. He even says only that key. 307, that's not what Allan said at all. Actually, yes, it is what Allan said. He's not necessarily saying Biden was the best Democrat. He's just saying that Democrats would have won the incumbency key. Actually, no, he did say that. Here's another one. Dr. Lichtman never said Biden is the best candidate to beat Trump. Here's another one. No, I did not need to watch your entire video. It took me 10 seconds to glance at some of your other clips to see that you are indeed shilling for Donald Trump and the Republicans. If Allan Lichtman would have predicted your guy as Trump as the winner, you'd be praising his 13 keys and saying he's a genius. I'll get to the 2016 election in a second, but it's funny because all of these people claim to be Allan Lichtman fans, and yet me, someone who is criticizing Lichtman, apparently I have more knowledge about Lichtman than they do. Okay, so let's revisit that CNN clip, and I've added more context this time. Again, Allan Lichtman was saying that at this point in time, immediately after the June presidential debate, he was saying that Biden was, quote, the only chance to win for Democrats. Take a look at this.
And they show that Democrats' really only chance to win, contrary to everything you've heard, is with Biden running. Look at the incumbency key. Biden checks that off.
I think that that's actually kind of what I was trying to get at here, is that the problem right now is that the Democratic Party is considering replacing Biden mostly because it's unclear whether or not he actually physically can carry out the rest of this campaign and put up a fight against his opponent. So that seems like a fundamentally different thing than some of the items that you have in your rubric.
It's a huge mistake. They're not doctors. So this is all foolhardy nonsense. The same pundits and pollsters who led us down the primrose path in 2016 are giving the Democrats horrible advice. This proves what I've been saying for years. Republicans have no principles. Democrats have no spine. debate performances can be overcome. And now the first sign of adversity, the spineless Democrats want to throw under the bus their own incumbent president. My goodness.
So again, you see there, not only did he say that Joe Biden is the Democrats' only chance to win, but he was chastising them for even considering replacing Joe Biden. So this wasn't even 2 full months ago. And now he's saying that Kamala Harris is going to beat Donald Trump with his own 13 keys rubric. So this is just proof that elections are unpredictable and that the 13 key system, it really is reliant on the input of the person filling out the keys. Now, a lot of people still were just very upset at my analysis of those 13 keys. But here's the thing. In this video, all I'm doing is using Allan's own words against him. My whole point of this video, again, if you want to go through the 13 keys, I have a previous video. You can check that out. In fact, I correctly predicted the 2016 election. I predicted in May of 2016 that Trump was going to win Michigan and win Pennsylvania long before anyone else did. That video is titled "Why Trump Will Win the General Election." That was published May of 2016, before Lichtman even made his official prediction, by the way. And Lichtman, just so we're clear, in 2016 predicted that Trump would win the popular vote. Again, he stealth edited the paper to say, no, I actually predict the winner of the election. In other words, I predict the winner of the Electoral College. But that even makes less sense, because how would your keys... You would have to rely on polling to predict the Electoral College winner, because you can lose the popular vote and win the Electoral College. So that doesn't even make sense on its face. More comments that I got that I would just love to debunk, because these people think they're so brilliant. StateOfDaniel, hey clown, he's been predicting the president before your grandpa came to America. Relax, your ignorance will get you killed. First of all, what are you trying to say? Is that a threat? Second of all, it's funny that anyone who talks about my race, my sexuality, just anything that is personal, always comes from Democrats. They always come from people who disagree. It never comes from the right. In fact, I've never once gotten a racist comment from someone on the right. All of the racist comments I get are from people who disagree and people clearly on the left. Hi, big mouth, just shut up. Shut the hell up and wait and see, you dumbass. Can't even type correctly. I'm going to bookmark this video and come back in November. I bet my paycheck that Lichtman is right. Cycle after cycle, I've heard the losing side call him a partisan act, only to be proven wrong on election day. Okay. From Trumpy's view, everything Biden did is wrong. The bottom line of this prediction is to put your own political view aside. His 13 keys can track the election back to 1860. Okay, it's really easy to predict the elections in retrospect, and like I said in my previous video, how many of the last 10 elections were really hard to predict? Everyone knew Obama was going to win in 2008, 2012. All the polls show they said that. All the polls said the same thing in 2004. Bush versus Kerry. So not only did Lichtman double down on that mistake, he then went on CNBC to say again that Joe Biden was the Democrats' best chance to win. So for all these Democrats in the comments saying, that's not what Lichtman said, here's Lichtman in his own words.
Well, I have a system for predicting elections, as you know, the 13 keys to the White House, that has been right since 1984. I've got a 40-year track record. All the polls you show. And I know you guys have to put on a show every day, but the truth is polls a year and a half or more before an election have zero predictive value. They're fun, but they're like sports talk radio. They don't mean anything in the end. But having Biden run gives the Democrats their best chance to win because he secures 2 of my 13 keys. The incumbency key, sitting president running, it won't be an open seat, which is very bad for the party in power, as we learned in 2008 for the Republicans and 2016 for the Democrats. And if he didn't run, you lose the incumbency key. There is no question that the Democrats' best bet to win is exactly what Biden is doing right now.
A lot of people, too, in the comments, they're always like, did you even read his book? Do you know how to read? Do you understand anything? Well, there are 3 different versions of Allan Lichtman's book. The original version was published in 1990, The 13 Keys to the Presidency. He then released a different version of the book in 2016, the 2016 edition, Predicting the Next President, available on Amazon. And then he released another edition in 2020, yes, right there, the 2020 edition. So he's released 3 different editions of this book. Well, in the 1990 version, here's what it said on Roman numeral, page 6. This is like the preface, the foreword, before you get into the main meat of the book. Again, for those of you who have the 1990 version of this book, feel free to open it to Roman numeral 6 so you can fact check me. A disciplined examination of the circumstances surrounding the surrounding presidential elections since the 1850s discloses a remarkably consistent set of factors or keys that can forecast the outcome of the popular vote in every election. Popular vote. This was his first book. 1990. What did it say once it got to page 6? When 5 or fewer keys are false, the incumbent party wins the popular vote. When 6 or more keys are false, the challenging party prevails. Page 8. Because the keys to the presidency diagnose the national political environment, they correlate with the popular balloting, not with the votes of individual states in the Electoral College. Again, if you have the 1990 version of the book, fact check me. Come at me, bro. Seriously. And so here's my point. A lot of people are looking at this Allan Lichtman like a Nostradamus, and they're, appealing to his authority. Well, he's gotten so many elections right. Where's your track record, Daniel? Where's your system? First of all, I don't claim to have a system for predicting presidents. Okay? I don't claim to have a model. The onus is not on me to prove that I'm right. It's on him. He's making a claim. Think of it this way. As I've said before, my family is all in medicine. I come from a family of physicians. I come from a family of lawyers. I am the black sheep in the family because I had no interest in either of those worlds. But when a pharmaceutical company comes out with a new drug, it is on them to prove that the drug works. That's why they have clinical trials. The FDA doesn't prove that the drug works. The FDA's purpose is just to, assure the public that it's safe and that it won't do any harm. But the onus is on the pharmaceutical companies to say that our drugs work. Our solution works. And so I don't have to prove anything. He has to prove anything. And that's the thing. He's changed his definition of success. He originally said it was the popular vote. Then all of a sudden over the years, no, it's the Electoral College. And 2000. Allan Lichtman got 2000 wrong. He predicted that Al Gore was going to win. Of course, George W. Bush won that. And then he said, well, I predict the popular vote, so no big deal. 2016, Lichtman predicted that Trump would win. Well, Trump did win, but Trump lost the popular vote. And all of a sudden, Lichtman goes, I don't predict the popular vote. I predict the winner of the election. In other words, I predict the Electoral College. BS. Absolute BS. Here are more comments that I got on my video. Okay, bro, then where's your prediction model? Okay, I already talked about that. Oh, really? Another one who believes is an expert just because he has a YouTube channel. No, I don't believe I'm an expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just saying if you're going to put a predictive model out there, at least be consistent in what you're saying. Allan Lichtman said that Democrats would lose if they swapped out Joe Biden, that Joe Biden was, quote, the only chance Democrats had to win. Then all of a sudden now he's claiming Kamala Harris is going to win. Not my words. Those are his. He even went on the Wall Street Journal, said the same. Now notice, earlier he said on CNN, Joe Biden was the Democrats' quote, only chance to win. Notice now how later on he goes on the Wall Street Journal and he changes his language from only chance to win to best bet for Democrats. Oh, is that the goalpost I see just slowly moving? Yeah, I think the goalpost is changing here. Take a look.
It is still the best bet for Democrats to have Biden stay in the race.
Yeah, the goalpost is way over there now. Okay. Another comment, dude, you're not the first, won't be the last dead wrong YouTuber. Okay. Your issues don't matter if the professor has been doing this for 40 years and only missed once. Okay, I already talked about that. His track record really is not that impressive, if I do say so myself. Here's one final clip of Allan Lichtman saying that replacing Joe Biden is a, quote, recipe for losing the election. Here you go.
You know, so many Democrats are saying, oh my God, Biden's too old. We need someone else. That's a recipe for losing the election.
Yep. Okay. So 3 points in this video. Number one, I don't claim to have a predictive model. I don't have anything to prove to anyone. This channel is my commentary and it's my analysis on the news. And Allan Lichtman is going out there claiming that he has accurately predicted elections. He's putting himself on the news. He is touting his record. So I have every right on my channel to provide my analysis, my commentary, and my critique on his system. Number two, he can't even keep his system accurate. Is it the popular vote or is it the Electoral College? Which one is it? Number three, he is on record saying that Joe Biden was the only chance for Democrats to win. The goalpost shifted to all of a sudden Joe Biden is the best chance for Democrats to win. Then all of a sudden the goalpost shifts again. Kamala Harris is going to win. Well, which is it? If your 13 keys are based on so strong of a system, why is it that these goalposts can change? You know what? It's really easy to accurately predict presidential elections if you don't have a standard. If your standards aren't cemented in a definitive requirement to fill out those 13 keys, and the definitive requirement to determine what success looks like, it appears that his goalposts are all over the place. As always, my opinion, my commentary, my analysis, and I want to know yours in the comments below. Is there something that I missed? Do you agree, disagree? And what do you think about Allan's prediction? Allan's prediction. Predictment. I kind of like that. Yeah. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.